Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about moving past the Muggle phase of Dungeons and Dragons and really going full ham in the next 50 years and doing things that are extraordinary and powerful and useful and innovative and far beyond what we've done before. So we did the first 50 years, we did a lot wrong, and that's okay. Dungeons and Dragons is so complicated, so unique, so unprecedented that there's a good reason we did a lot of stuff wrong. But now in the second 50, we can get a lot of this right, and we can really start to use Dungeons and Dragons for what it was meant to be used for. So I believe Gary Gygax built Dungeons and Dragons as a human improvement engine, and that specifically it was designed to help people adjust mental health, right? And to be sound intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, right? That it was a secular tool designed to aid and perfect and move human beings toward perfection, right? Of course, this is an extremely unique view. I've literally never met anyone who shares it, and that's okay. I'm extremely comfortable bringing people to a new understanding of the world and being the only person who has that first, right? Extremely comfortable with that. And I have to be, because my channel is really I guarantee you, there's not a channel in the world like mine. Nobody has a channel like mine. I'm very aware of that, right? So, all right, let's get into what we're going to do with Dungeons and Dragons for the next 50 years, because this actually, yeah, let's go. All right, so it was Wednesday, March 26th of 2025, and I had a free evening, right? And so I'm incredibly blessed, and I have this Regal movie pass, and I can go to the movies whenever I want. It is astounding. It's literally a dream come true from when I was a child. Like, if you had told me when I was a kid that I could go to the movies as often as I wanted, as many times as I wanted, on a $25 a month pass, first of all, I wouldn't have believed you, because I spent the majority of my life paying $15 a ticket, right? Like, and that's outrageous, right? But now, like, it's shocking. I've literally never seen anything like it. It is truly incredible. And so we arrive at this point where I can go to the movies whenever I want. So I go on and I look at the Regal Pass, and it says, hey, tonight, right, you can go see Princess Mononoke on IMAX. All right. Now, just to be clear, IMAX movies sometimes they'll send me a little thing in there like, you can see this movie on IMAX, and it's included in your price, right? Now, what they did for this was not included in my pass. There's an $8 upcharge for Max movies, for IMAX movies. Now, if I don't have the pass, that's literally $26, right? So very cheap for me, eight bucks to see Princess Mononoke on IMAX. So I'm like, bet, I'll take that ticket. Fantastic ticket, but the theater is packed. Now, this is on a Wednesday, right? So this is a movie that's 40 years old at this point, or like, very, very old. This came in the 80s, I think, right? And maybe 90s, but very old film, right? And it was packed. There were just like tons of people in this room to see Princess Mononoke on IMAX. Now, what's interesting is I've seen Princess Mononoke no less than, I think I've seen it between 5 and 8 times in my lifetime, right? I love it. It's, and who doesn't? Like, Princess Mononoke is literally a modern masterpiece. It's like, Miyazaki, and like, it's, I don't need to tell you, Princess Mononoke is good, right? But what I'd never seen Princess Mononoke subtitled, right, in the original Japanese, and frankly, I didn't want to, right? The reason why I ended up in this was I didn't look. I was like, actually, you know what? I think I might even just subconsciously be like, is this subtitled? And then I was like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, you've never seen Princess Mononoke on IMAX. You just go, right? So I went despite not wanting to see it subtitled. So I watched dubbed, right? I enjoy dubbed. And I love the dubbed version of Princess Mononoke. Billy Bob Thornton and Claire Danes, and just so many amazing voices, right? Um, it's a really powerful piece, right? But this was in the original Japanese, so I experienced it in a new way. And seeing it on IMAX, like, I couldn't believe it. This is very old. They must have remastered it because it was so crystal clear and so beautiful. It brought me in, right? And I was just blown away by Yakul and, the Deer God and the Kodamas, and it was just so powerful, right? And I absolutely loved it. I was blown away by this, right? But it was, but then, I go home and I'm thinking about the film on the way home, and I'm like, well, what do I do with it? How does this change how I play Dungeons and Dragons, right? And I realized where we can go in the next 50 years, right, is we can re-experience the same stories, but in a new and powerful way, right? And so what would that be, right? Well, one of the things we can do with Dungeons and Dragons is we can bring our table together and go, okay, hey, everybody, thanks for showing up for Dungeons and Dragons tonight. And everybody's like, yeah, what are we going to do? And I'm like, we're going to run Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. What? Yeah, so, you're going to make, so each one of you gets your choice, but you need to choose, the core four. Princess Leia, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, and R2D2. There's 5 of you. Take those. You can split it up any way you want. Take those 5 characters. If you want to take some other rebel person, that's fine. Big Starklighter, or a Wedge or Porkins. Whoever you want to play, right? And we're gonna run that story. They're like, well, wait, why would you just run Star Wars? Well, you're going to make decisions based on how you think they should have happened in the film. And it may end differently, right? They may not destroy the Death Star, right? Or they may defeat the Empire more quickly, right? Or Luke may never become a Jedi. Princess Leia might become a Jedi, right? And the whole point is, you and me, because we have this powerful narrative engine, we can experience classics, masterpieces in ways that no one else can, right? And and it was packed, right? It was packed. But everybody in this room was a really special person, right? Like, everybody there was passionate about anime, and was passionate about high art, and was passionate about Japanese oni. This is a really special group, and we can do the same. Like, we can make these experimentations, we can have these innovations, we can experience narrative in ways that no human being has ever experienced narrative, right? And in new and fresh and innovative ways. That's what we can do in the next 50 years. Now, how will that help us adjust mental health? Well, it can reveal truths. It can reveal wisdom, right? It can allow us to be refreshed, right? A lot of these masterpieces are refreshing, right? And so there's this opportunity, this beautiful opportunity for us to do new, fresh, fascinating things with Dungeons and Dragons in the next 50 years. Do it with me. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Absolutely nothing more and absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.